Hello friends, Tanya here for Trinity Stamps, and today we are going to do a little bit of simple retro coloring and card making. I pulled out the Porta-Hello stamp and die set, and I stamped it with some, not Distress Oxide. I think I used the, it's a black ink that's Copic friendly from Hero Arts. Intense Black, that's the words I'm looking for. And stamp that on some 80-pound white cardstock. And then I did heat set my ink before I started coloring. If you don't heat set your ink, sometimes it starts to smear when you start coloring with your Copic markers, and that is never the look you're looking for. I pulled out a bunch of neutrals to color these mushrooms. I was going full on 70s vibe here with the orange, brown, gold, and avocado green look. Sometimes that's just the look you want. It's subdued, it's earthy, it's neutral in gender, and it works perfect. I have used on the largest mushroom, I used some E80s, and then for the orange brown I used some E90s, and then for the red one was the E09 E07 combo. Now I'm using two sets of greens here. I pulled out 3 colors of green in 2 different tones. I used green greens and I used yellow greens. This is the G46, G43, and G24, I believe, that I used here. And I may have only used the 2 darker tones, which would have been the G46 and the G24, to recreate one set, or the longer drooping leaves on this set. And I colored those each in. I went in with the darker color first on each of these color schemes and came back with the lighter color and filled it in from there. The E colors were all pretty. The lighter colors had a lot of the colorless blender in them, so they did blend very nicely. I'm adding the more olive toned greens for the leaves on the flowers. And I'm just going through and coloring all of those. I do really like the bullet tip nib on this, on the bigger marker that I had, these Copic Original. And I'm thinking about adding those on more of them. I don't know about you, but I do really like mushrooms. They go so well by adding a savory flavor to many different dishes. Even raw in a salad, they are delicious. And I know my grandmother used to go hunting in the pastures for morels in the spring, and that was kind of a fun memory. A good excuse to go wander through the woods, the oak trees, and the pastures, and just spend some time with nature and with family. Have you ever gone mushroom picking? I advise you go with someone who knows what they're looking for, but fresh picked mushrooms are a joy. I did use some YR colors here for my yellows, definitely gold, going for that more gold tone. It's YR 21, 23, and 24 here. And then I came back with some of the E09 for the centers of the flowers. I did try just the YR24 at first, but that wasn't quite dark enough. These little stones, I'm using some toner grays in T2, T4, and T6, and then a little bit of filling in of the ground with some W1. There is a coordinating die set that goes with this whole stamp set. And the largest image, or the image, has one die that cuts that. And then there is a die for each of the sentiments, which is amazing. Love that. I am definitely going to use that. And as you saw when I pulled everything out, I have already stamped heat embossed and die cut several of those sentiments. I'm going to use a Jelly Roll Stardust pen and a clear white Wink of Stella marker here to add a little shimmer and shine to a few of the elements on this image. I think it really adds a lot of life to your image when you add some sparkle to it. Everything has a little shimmer, doesn't it? Even these very earthy things have some shimmer to them. I'm going to use the Stardust pen to add a little shimmer to the centers of each of the flowers. I really enjoyed coloring this image, and there's so many amazing ways to color it. I've seen it in pastels, I've seen it in bold colors, and I've seen it in a rainbow of colors. Next, I'm going to take this Slimline Heart Swirl die and die cut it with some holographic paper. And it's a wonderful image to add things to. I thought about using the goats from I Got the I Goat You set, but I decided to go with the mushrooms because they haven't gotten enough love lately. Next, I took the Slimline Quilted cover die and I die cut that from some craft colored cardstock, adhered that to a Slimline card base, and I'm going to adhere this holographic heart swirl to the card base also, kind of towards the bottom of the card front so that it will have enough space for my mushroom grouping. And then I added some dimension to the back of those. You could use foam squares or whatever you like to use. I like to use coaster blank. And I added that to the left side of the heart swirl. It's kind of like it's wrapped around it and entwined in this heart. I just love the flow that creates. And I took the longest sentiment from the stamp set and added that to the front also. And it just snuggles right in there perfectly. Next, I took my card base and put it inside an open-sided stamp positioner. And I'm going to use this wheat colored ink from Concord and Ninth. And I'm going to do some generational stamping here because I just want a subtle stamping on the inside. I just have a piece of scratch paper that I put down to stamp off the ink once and then stamp it on the inside of the card. That completes the card for today. What do you think? Is retro still in? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this card. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please take a moment to do that now. And if you're interested in any of the supplies that I used today, check that description box below. Here are a couple more videos we thought you might enjoy. Until next time, bye-bye.